I think this is a good episode. I think this is a good episode.
I think this is one of those episodes that like I was saying, like the first episode where they're trying to build to something.
Yeah.
This is the high before the very, very low.
I'm gonna say something controversial. Well, not controversial. I have a small theory that I'll even be surprised if it happens. But first off, let us do the things that we must do before we do the things that we have to do. And before we even do the things that we want to do, we must clap.
Yes.
We must clap and do the rituals of clappiness.
The rituals of clappiness.
Will we ever do it right? Nobody knows. But we will try. Alright, Roscoe, I'm gonna let you handle it, because I'm scared to have any responsibility in my life right now.
It's clapping time.
Oh no!
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I feel like yours was late. Maybe because there's a delay, maybe that hearing you after means that we're probably in sync.
I don't know.
I hope.
I hope. As like, I know I threw it as a joke. We threw it out as a joke, where it's like, oh yeah, if we get 100 subs, we'll play this random game. Now that like
this line is heading to
we looked at the number, like we're kind of close. I'm like, oh, damn, it's gonna be bad.
We're like 20 shy.
Oh my god. But Roscoe.
That is me. That is he.
That is
nobody.
he.
But you know.
Nobody knows what nobody knows. Roscoe, we are still watching ReZero and still somehow posting this.
Yep.
We don't know how it's happening, but we're consistently posting this thing around weekly right now, and we're doing an okay job. Let's see how long that lasts. But yeah, we're still talking about.
We shall see.
Still talking about ReZero. We are on season 3, episode 7, but the weird way they count it is season 3, episode 57. Before we get into this, I want to say a couple things. Hi, I am Nobody. I am Nobody Knows, but you can call me Nobody. I'm with Roscoe Sweatsuit. Say hi.
Hi.
Okay, yep.
I'm Roscoe Sweatsuit. I am currently sweating.
Yep. We're just two random dudes on the internet, and we are just gonna talk about the show because we enjoy the show and we like talking about it, right? So first off, if you're listening to this for some reason, you must know that we are going to spoil things about the episode. We are going to rehash the episode, and we are going to tangent. These are the main core things that we do for some reason. Yeah, so without too much further ado, we'll hop into the episode if you don't have anything, Roscoe.
No, but I want to do one of those early things in on like the newer YouTubers where they just say, hey, subscribe and like the video to beat the algorithm.
Oh, I like this. All right, yes, please do that. And yeah, but let's hop into this. All right, so we pick up where we left off last time. Subaru, Anastasi, Hoshin, Julius are actually, is that the beginning of the thing? Let me think. No, it's not the beginning of the episode. We go to Amelia. Oh yeah, I remember what I wanted to do.
Or you gonna tell me I was wrong?
Yeah, fuck you, Roscoe. My boy's innocent. My boy did nothing wrong.
It has yet to be seen.
My boy was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he just picked up a cell phone. That's all, bro.
How convenient.
All right, the episode starts off with Al, who is around a ton of dead bodies that it looks like he has murdered. All these dead bodies are cultists, and he's just like, man, I killed a lot of people. He's like, hey, there's a phone, and he just picks it up. And as soon as he picks it up, the phone immediately turns on, and it's Amelia on the other side. So at the end of the last episode, we saw Amelia pick up Top Cheese. We call the Saint Bitch of Greed Top G, which this episode further proves that he's just he continues to be a horrible person. Yeah, Amelia picks up Top G's phone,
especially with like current like what we currently know about police proceedings
Yeah, it
about
is.
the situation.
Yeah, it is, man. Like you're saying, different type of evil, but still, it's so bad. Um, but yeah, she picks up the phone while Alice picking up the phone and by this phone it's a media. It's like a little like clam thingy that has a mirror that shows other people that FaceTimes the other person's face. And yeah, they pick up the phone at the same time, and it is Al and Amelia talking. And basically, as soon as Amelia recognizes Al and stuff like that, she just says like, "Hey, I need you to tell Subaru this stuff," telling Al the plan of like, "Hey, this is where this person is. This is where the Saint Bishop of Greed is, Saint Bishop of Greed is." And make sure that Betty's okay. And she's like telling Al to do all this stuff. And I was like kind of in the middle of it. It's like, hey, bro, if you didn't, remember or recognize, you're still kind of fucking kidnapped, and you should probably be like, hey, tell Subaru to come save me, or like, try to get out of this. Like, it's okay to do that stuff. He kind of like puts that out there, and she's like, that's fine. I know Subaru's gonna save me, but I just know I just know it's gonna work out. He's just that good of a person, and I was kind of taken aback by this like attitude of being like Subaru not prioritizing her immediately, right? And he's like, all right, I will tell him, or whatever, but yeah, just don't do anything stupid or crazy. And she's like, all right, cool, I got it, or whatever. And she hangs up the phone, and she's kind of like, yeah, that's awesome. I was like, I'm kind of surprised I have this much confidence in Subaru, basically, which is a fair statement.
Yeah.
Fair statement, Amelia.
I would not.
Fair statement, Amelia. And that's the ending of like the beginning scene of the show.
I do want to say like, a couple things on this. One, I am really excited in the direction that they're taking Amelia. Yeah. I know we talked for the last 2 episodes. We were a bit shaky on where they were going to go because they started off so strong with her this season.
Yeah.
And then they like immediately Princess Peached her.
Yeah.
Like just as quickly. I'm excited to see this kind of change in character where she doesn't like, it feels very refreshing where like she feels like an active character in the story. Like she's like, it's cool if she, it's like how her character seems like now. It's like, it's cool if Subaru comes and saves me, but like I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need him. Like it's a lot of that stuff we got from the cringe arc.
I don't need that.
Is like,
I don't need no knight.
Come and play. Yes. I'm a strong, independent princess.
And I can throw icicles by myself. I have more than magic missile now. But yeah, I agree. I like this direction. It's not like she's like, I'm stuck here, and I need someone to help me. It's kind of like I am trying to make sure the people here are not gonna just get immediately wiped, right? Like there's thoughts to it. She's like, okay, while I'm here, I'm gonna still be active to planning with everyone else, right? Like there's this like this kind of like I can't believe I'm blanking on the word. It's
self-determinism.
Yeah, it's stuff that she's doing that's just not like pushed off on like by other characters. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? She is actively feeding Subaru the information that she needs. She's actively staying in this bad position to make sure like these other people doesn't get hurt. And at least what it comes off to me is like she's willing to run the hands if things go bad, right?
Like shouts out to like the writer of this for not completely like Orihime-ing the situation.
Yeah, like she still feels like she has agency. That's what I was trying to say. I understand what she's doing. I might not agree with it. I'm like, yo, Zanpakuto every time. You might as well, right? Like, but like, I feel like the character has agency, and her reasoning for doing stuff makes sense.
I would not go Zanpakuto with Top G.
Hey, man, we gotta test his metal. He's either a god or he's a bitch. We don't know yet.
Do you remember what he did to Petal Goose?
Well, that was baby Petal Goose. He wasn't Beta Goose yet. He ran up on him as a young buck. Yeah, whatever, right? Yeah, but like let's be honest. He only has bullied people that are weaker than him right now. So like, what if he runs the hands with someone that got some hands, right? What if he runs the hand with someone with some red hair?
He has a spirit gun.
That he does. It makes him dangerous.
Yes.
I believe in the red hair, and I believe in Al, and I won't let you question my client again.
Okay, I know you feel completely determined that you know Al is innocent, which is fine. Maybe I'll talk about this a little bit more, but I'm still not 100% convinced.
Just look at it.
It might just be my pride.
Just look at his helmet. Just look at his helmet. Can
Like
you must trust those eyes.
you can't trust a man who you've never seen his face. Like he has a very trustworthy face. You know, you've never seen his face. How would you know? Nobody. How would you know?
You know.
But I will say, I was not expecting for him to be that strong.
Yeah. Yeah. For in that beginning scene says it all. Like that dude can easily wipe, at least the cultists, right? So I do like this episode, which we're gonna get into more. It kind of scopes out more of like what his ideals are and like who he is kind of as a person. And I don't like, he might not be like the ideal person you would want to talk to like to be in this situation, but he at least he's honest. Like he's like straight honest very very quickly. He's not hiding his motivations like a lot of other people in the series tend to do.
Yeah, you know, he's just hiding his face. Anyway.
And so you don't need to look at his face. He has one arm, so he's been through some shit, and he got like rock hard abs. So that he must be handsome, and we always trust beautiful people, right? If they're beautiful people, they must be trustworthy.
I don't know. I'm gonna be J. Jonah Jameson on this. How can we trust a man face we haven't seen?
Oh man,
He's a menace. He is a menace. Oh my gosh! Like we saw how actually devastating some of these just regular mobs are.
Yeah,
With some characters that we thought were very very top tier.
yeah, and he was like not even a scratch, bro. And I'm gonna lead into your little bit of like hesitation with this character because I think in the very next scene is basically it is Subaru, Anastasia Hoshin, Julius. Is that the three?
It's Julius, Anastasia, Subaru, Garfield.
No, not yet.
And,
not Garfield yet. It's those three first, and then Al comes.
oh yeah, Garfield did show up a little bit later.
Yeah, right. So Al comes back. Basically, they're still in the same place that they were talking last episode. Al comes back, and immediately, the immediate thing that Hoshin does is like, she didn't say like where the fuck you been, but it's like it's kind of like, oh, of course you would show up like, you know what I'm trying to say, like she was kind of saying like, oh, like where you been.
Again, smart woman.
Right. And I was like, hey, I was doing my thing, I was doing my jazz, and I got a message for you, Subaru. And he was like, yo, who would want to message me now? And he's like, he says it in like a very like cryptic way. He was like, oh, you're the princess with a white horse and stuff like that. And then he immediately gets like, oh, it's Amelia. So I mean, he gets all the information from Amelia, and I think the information that Amelia said by word is Greedo's in one of the towers, Lust is in the other tower. Protect Betty, right? It's like the general stuff she says to him. He's like, all right, cool, thanks for the information or whatever. And they're kind of like thinking about a little bit more of the plan. And while that's happening, like as soon as I'll finish up, Garfield appears. He comes over, he immediately hugs Subaru, and he's like kind of like saying like, everything's kind of trash out there, and he's kind of trying to figure out what's going on next. I'm gonna stop here before we move on a little bit more. I like the scene for Garfield, man. It really comes across that he really sees these people as his family, and I think sometimes it's kind of hard sometimes to see that, but like the kid, like Garfield is the youngest out of this group, and his attachment to everyone makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, this episode did a really good job at playing off the character in a way that I haven't seen it in a while, where they both capture like that kind of thing, like, oh, this, like, you look at him like, oh, he's got to be a little bit older, and then he'll say something, and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot he's like significantly younger than everyone else.
Yeah, and so his reaction to that is kind of like makes a lot of sense, where he's like, hey man, I'm glad you're okay, and he's like kind of worried about everything in the situation. The conversation continues, and they kind of say like, hey, the Witch of Wrath's, the Saint Bishop of Wrath's power is kind of trash. By trash, it means it sucks to everyone because it's making everyone on edge and about to explode, right? I think I said this other. I really like how this power works because it's like I feel like it's like kind of a subtle thing about Wrath where it's like there is like a calm before someone that kind of explodes or whatever, and this like it's easy to like when someone is going to do something very like angry or have an outburst, it's normally not out of nothing. It's normally a buildup of things. Even if the things are unrelated, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter if the things are unrelated. It's just like a buildup of things happen, and then there's like this that one last like thing that like tips the scales, and then that person explodes into anger. I don't know if that's true for everyone, but I can tell you for a fact that has definitely been made in many situations. So
Yeah.
I like how this is like an innate kind of like power where it's like it just adds the gasoline that when people are feeling bad and the Saint Bishop is around, people get angrier, a little bit more lonelier, a little bit more agitated, and it leads to people doing wrathful, angry outbursts. Right? So they're whole talking about this, and they're kind of like saying like we gotta figure out a way to stop it, and Garfield is kind of reaffirming this. It's like yeah, it's bad out there. People are like still dying from these Ajins. Like it's not a cool place to be out there right now, and he's seen a lot of it because he looked all over the city for Subaru. Um, do you have anything to say before I switch over to the next scene?
No, there's not a whole lot in this
Yep,
scene.
yep.
There's not a whole lot in this episode for real. It's pretty much only about we only changed the scene about maybe 3 times. It's just moving back and forth between scene, back and forth between scene.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think there's not like a ton of stuff in this episode, but I still think it's like a really I wouldn't be like this is a skippable episode at all. I think especially when we get down to the speech, I think it's like a really good speech that I think encaptures a lot of like why I think Subaru is a cool protagonist. But we will get to it when we get to it. Before we go over there, we go back to Amelia. She goes back to her using her ice powers. Goes back to her room, and she's trying to like get rid of the evidence of the ice body she made. And wife 186. That's I think that's her name for right now. Is like, oh, you're back, and I kind of wish you weren't back. I wish you ran away. I wish you could have got away from this situation because like this place is terrible, and I wish your thing or whatever. And Amelia tries to like play it off like, oh, I didn't run away, I did a thing, but like it was kind of obvious that like, hey, like you could have escaped, and wife 186 is kind of wondering like, why did you stay? Why did you come back? And she, Amelia's reasoning is very honest and simple. It's like, hey, she knows if she disappears, all the wives here are gonna be in trouble, right? And she doesn't want that to happen. And we get this kind of super quick, small scene where this person was like, "Bro, I just kind of wanted things to end. I just wanted to do my last act of defiance, have things end, and at least feel like I did something. But like none of that matters because I see now that it wouldn't matter if anything or whatever. And it's like a very depressing thing. And basically, she basically comes out and says that she wished Emilia didn't save her life and that she could have died in that moment. And less words, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a very, very like desperate time right now. There's a lot going on in terms of the city and like inside the I don't know inside the tower with the bishop of what is it Pride, the bishop of Pride's
Bishop Greed.
dwellings.
Greed.
Yeah, or the bishop of Greed.
Top G.
Yeah, Top G. In his harem. Uh, yeah, there's just a lot going on, and it just seems like the theme is kind of like going from like desperation to like trying to get people into a hopeful state. But there's not really a whole lot to say about this. Yeah, I think you kind of said everything. Everything.
Yeah. So now the only thing I was surprised at is like, I think this has nothing to do with like what's going on outside, and I think that's just kind of like the daily life of being a wife of the Saint Bishop Reed, where it's like,
Not the daily life.
what do you mean? Uh, You know, no, but I mean like her emotions about everything, right? Where it's like, this person obviously feels trapped and desperate to get out. We in the next scene we come back over here. She goes into it a little bit more, but it kind of just like shows a more insight of like being Top G's wife really sucks for multiple reasons. Basically, that's what it came off to me at least.
Okay.
So we go back to the group, and basically, they have the plan of like saying, okay, someone needs to make a speech to give people hope in this time of thing, because that would mitigate the Raph's power, and it'll make things just in a state where things don't explode, where people are going to do something stupid that makes it, easy for the cult to even like use that against them even more, right? And Subaru was like, all right, oh shit, it's time for you to shine. You grew up here, you got a voice. And she's like, bro, no one's gonna listen to me. And he's like, what, bro? He's like, well, you live here and all this other stuff. She's like, yeah,
Speak to the streets.
yeah, but she's like, but like, yo, I got cash. Like, I don't fuck with these these poor folks. And they ain't gonna listen with me. And then like he's like, okay, what about you, Julius? And Julius is like, I'm not really the guy either. And like Subaru's kind of going through the list of like Crush, like some of the knights like Reinhardt and stuff like that, and they are slowly like running out of people to do this, right? And another thing that happens in this scene, I'll verbally
are they running out of people to do this, or is this just like a group project that nobody wants to do? Everyone's just trying to.
Bro, I can't do that stuff. Yeah, this is true. This is true. They like.
Because let's be honest, there were some candidates in there. Like if Reinhardt would have gone on there and made a like a passion speech on like why not to give up, we're gonna listen to Reinhardt. Reinhardt is pretty much like is just like the Ichigo of the world.
Fair.
With like Aizen spiritual pressure.
But we have one problem with Reinhardt. When the world needs him most,
he simps.
Yeah, so but yeah, basically before I get into the next thing that happens is like one thing I want to mention. Al is 100% but like is trying to bring down this plan very hard. He's like, bro, like you're saying all this stuff, that shit don't matter, bro. This is kind of dumb. I don't think you should do it. He's like, Subaru points out that like, hey, like, who's the person that opened the gate, right? Like, because like the Witch of Lust was with me when the gate opened. It almost seems like someone was just opening it and then closing it so we can have time to escape, right? And Al says is extremely quiet. I think he did it.
Again, that's where I was about to go. I think I literally wrote down, could it be Al? He's one of the few people we don't have accounted for, like, ever. And also, also, guess who happened to leave randomly? And didn't he say he was going to go, like, look for his princess?
Yes.
He did not.
Well,
at all, because the princess was on the battlefield. Was she on the battlefield, or did she just kind of showed up at the end? She wasn't really doing much.
She wasn't at the battlefield. She was just like, she's just roaming around. She's just been with the songstress. She's just been like rolling around town. Rolling around at the speed of sound. Got places to go. Go ahead.
Gotta follow my rainbow.
Yes.
You can't trust a man if you don't know what his face looks like.
Hey, don't
again.
Hey, my trap card is activated. Bro, if this is true and he was the one that did it, doesn't that mean he is a savior? He has saved the group. I think that's pretty good to me. That seems like a good thing that good people do, is saving people's lives.
Maybe, but you don't know what specific reason it could be. Like, if he is in the witch's cult, he seems like he might have a like more of like what's Sasuke's brother's name?
Itachi.
Yeah, he seems like he might be like more of an Itachi character. But there's so many. The thing about the world of ReZero is there's so many other motivations that you could have that we just don't know about because we have such a limited scope of what the world is. But to move on from that, like, but still stay on it. I said it this episode, and I said the last episode, and I'll probably say it maybe 6 more times. I really, really love how, like, this story really tries to keep, like, the fundamental mystery element of this, like, at the forefront. Some people would describe, like, this is a fantasy, but to me, the main reason that I'm still interested in the show is just the mystery element. Like, what they do to, like, you don't always know what's going on, for many, many reasons.
Yeah.
There's always more to the story that you find out.
Yeah, it does something that I feel like a lot of isekais kind of feel like is like you literally get plopped into the world, right? You literally get plopped into the world, and you don't know anything, and you don't know anything with this character, right? I feel like a lot of isekais just kind of like make their characters just accommodate or like app or like get into the world very very easily, where it's not even like a part of like their daily, if that makes sense, or of their story, right? It's like their story is not about them acclimating to the world. Their story is about them doing something in the world that's great, right? Like either conquering it or like being a savior or something like that, right? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like a lot of Subaru's like thing is just like him not knowing shit, right? He just doesn't know about this stuff until it just presents itself to him, right? And yes, he's saving the world and he's doing a lot of stuff that happens in these shows, but it also feels like he is going by the seat of his pants, and the only reason he knows stuff is because he has ability to return by death. I think a good example is the whale, right? Like Subaru technically beat the world twice, right? Like he just didn't know he had those powers, right? He just didn't know it. Right? Like they put it in a lot of things where it's like, oh, of course you wouldn't know this because this is something he just landed in the world literally like a couple days ago.
Yeah, but the world assumes that he has been here his whole life. So there's things that no one's going to explain to him.
Yeah.
And if he were to ask, people would look at him like you're stupid. Like if you took like Link from Legend of Zelda and dropped him in the middle of Manhattan, like he would seem very stupid. Like if you ask like, hey, ask somebody to explain to you what a traffic light is.
Yeah. And to that point, like he has directly suffered for being this person. The cringe arc is very cringe, but a lot of it deals with his personal pride and this thing of like, you don't know shit. You don't know what's going on here. You're just saying shit.
I would say we don't talk about the cringe arc, but there is a lot of mention of cringe arc in this episode.
But okay.
A lot of callbacks.
Yeah, a lot of callbacks, but it's needed. It's needed for this scene, right? So we switch back to Subaru. They're like kind of gone through this list. They exhausted all their options. And Garfield climbs up and just like, bro, why don't you do the speech? You're like, you are the most qualified person for this thing, right? And he's like, yeah, you've beaten the whale, you've defeated like the Archbishop Soft or whatever, and you've done all these crazy stuff or whatever. And Subaru's like, I don't know about this, bro. Like, and Hoshin steps in and says the same thing. He's like, hey, yeah, you have all this experience, you can actually like talk to these people and give them hope. You can be this like hope. And Julius also chimes in and he's like, yeah, remember that time I beat your ass in the cringe shark? Remember that? Remember that happened? And Subaru's like, yeah, it's like one of my top embarrassing moments in my life, right? And he's like, yeah, just like, yeah. And that's all he said. He just brings it up. He just brings it up.
Yeah, Julius, he roasts in MLA format.
I was like, bro, I thought you were gonna say something with that. You just brought it up.
Yeah, there was no actual purpose for him doing that. And that's why I really like the character Julius.
Like, I understand Julius' position, position is kind of like, oh, this is like you're a defiant person. You're like a man of people or something like that. Like, it has to lean into something like that. Like, you say what you need to say. You're not like us where I'm like, can't speak up or whatever. But Julius, you didn't say anything encouraging at all. You just said, like, you remember that time I beat your ass?
And again, to put it this way, Julius is a member of like the military essentially of that country. Wouldn't it make sense for like, a colonel, a general, a soldier to be the person, trying to assuage the people.
Nah, he
Not
he don't want to talk.
not Natsuki Subaru. Apparently to them, the what do they call him? What's his name?
Uh,
The little.
that's a terrible name.
Such the worst name.
But yeah, so he brings it up, and like Subaru was feeling kind of gassed and stuff like that. He's like, okay, maybe I can do this. And Al comes up, he's like, bro, I'm gonna keep a buck with you. You don't want to do this shit. You should focus on saving Amelia. That's what I do. I just focus on saving Amelia. If you do this, you're gonna put a whole bunch of pressure on yourself, for no reason. And Garfield gets in his face, and he's like, "Yo, don't talk about my boss like that." He's like, "Hey, bro, yo, if you put yourself in this position, you can't lose. Like you can't live. You're like holding up the faith of other people's hopes and dreams. So losing is not an option. And I know you can't do that, Garfield. right.
You don't have that dog in you.
You don't got a dog in you. And I was like, kind of like, I know I can't do it either, right? And he's like, kind of telling Subaru, like, hey, you should just focus on saving Amelia, and don't worry about all this other stuff. And this is where we get like a lot of flashbacks about, the last things that happened in the last 2 seasons or whatever. And Subaru kind of sits there and he thinks about it.
Real quick, just stop you right there. Yeah. Why not? That's literally what all the other knights have been doing.
Yeah.
Every last one of them does not care about the well-being of anyone else in that country, even though they are knights that are sworn to do so.
They're sworn to their candidate, nothing else.
They sworn to the simp.
But yeah,
They pledge allegiance to the game and nothing else.
but yeah, I like this from Al, because it comes off as like you're saying, like it's a super fair point, right? It's a super fair point. It's not like Al is like doing this out of malice or he's like being mean or anything. It's just
You're just listening to him because he has abs.
his abs are just so perfect, right, man? But no, like honestly, like I think his sentiment is relatable and ours, and like it makes sense, right? He's like, hey, bro, like everyone else is doing this shit where they kind of just focus about his candidates. You should be doing the same thing too. And he's like, I know I do it, and I know the response. Like I understand the responsibility of going to do what you're gonna do, and I know it's like a lot of pressure. I don't think you should take that pressure, right? I think Al really does give Subaru the favor of like, here's the real thing about what you're about to do.
I think like you said, I think it's a very compelling argument. I think the most compelling argument that he made was +6 abs, +6 communication. No, for real. Yeah, honestly, I think that's a very reasonable argument. Because in this world, there are a lot of dangerously strong people. And if you were going to spend all your time fighting these people for no good reason, you're not doing your job.
Yeah.
Which is, like, I said they're knights, but if anything, they're probably more like the Secret Service, whose, sole purpose is not necessarily the protection of other people. It's, like, to literally throw down their lives for whoever they're supposed to be protecting.
Yeah.
So that's fair for someone who is supposed to be pretty much the bodyguard for this royal candidate.
Yeah. I'm gonna actually pull up a line he said real quick. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna find it real quick because like I like the way he said it. Super small thing he says, because he's like kind of saying like, oh, I feel sorry for you if you're in this position. Those witch coach guys are just passing evildoers. Is something he says, which is like, yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, I know these guys are bad people, but like, yeah, this will pass, right? They're just gonna go on without their day or whatever. And if you just don't focus on them and you focus on protecting Amelia, it'll be fine. He gives off that kind of sentiment. But Subaru basically, absorbs what everyone says, and he's got kind of like, he says like, hey, if like a kid runs out into the street when he's not supposed to, he would just grab that kid and pull him back, without thinking about it, right? Because he would just do it because he knows it's like kind of like the right choice, right? And he just says like, yeah, I know this is gonna be a whole bunch of pressure, but you know it's business as usual. Like I've been in this situation. I have to do this. I have to go do this thing, right?
That's very confident.
Very confident, very confident. So yeah, basically, they get him set up, and he's about to do a speech. We're gonna do one quick cutback to Amelia and wife 186,
84.
84. Real quick, and basically they continue kind of the conversation they were having about how the Saint Bishop of Greed really sucks. And basically the wife like tells like this is a pattern that Greed has done, where it's like when she was like a little girl, Greed married her and literally killed everyone she had any associations with, immediately, basically.
What like compelling metaphor for like a legitimately toxic relationship.
Yes. So yeah, and so you see this like character that's like, it's just like, yeah, this is kind of terrible, but she's like kind of stuck into it, and Amelia is kind of like trying to comfort her and being like, hey, you know, you should have this hope or whatever. But Amelia is kind of failing. Her arguments are not hitting as they should be hitting, or trying to, or they're not hitting as hard as she wants them to hit. She's hitting something. I don't know what what's happening to the words in my mouth. Her argument is
she's hitting the air.
She's hitting the air.
It's easy to say, you know, have hope, you know, while you know, all your friends are still alive.
Yeah, her argument is not landing, it seems. And then, you know, the mic goes on and Subaru has his speech. I won't do the speech or go through it, but I'll just go for the gist. He just says, bro, I'm a normal person. I'm kind of weak and a coward, but, you know, if someone made someone that I care about cry, they can't be good people, and they can't be right. And like, I know you guys just met these people or whatever, but you know, these are people that you can connect with and you could be friends with and you can love, right? So, you know, stick with them, and like we have to fight these people. And by fighting, he means like, he's like, hey, I don't need you to go out with sticks or bang on anything or whatever. I just need you to, like, you know, look at it in people in the eye and like, don't look at your feet. Like, just look forward. And he kind of says like, yeah, I'm Nasi Subaru. I have a spirit. I've defeated like the Great Whale. I've defeated the Archbishop of Sloth, right? And he's like, all I need you guys to do is just believe. Like, I just need you guys to believe that we can win. And he's like, hey, as long as you guys can believe, I'll keep fighting, and I will win or whatever, right? So, you know, it's just like, I think it's like a very good
standard.
Yeah, standard and summary of kind of Subaru's character, where it's like he is this guy that is like absolutely not qualified for any of this shit, but he is willing to fight. He's willing to persist, at least. Even, I mean, he's not perfect. Like, he has quit before. Like, he has done things to quit before, but like, he's eventually does get back on the bandwagon of trying to make things go right so he can win. You know what I'm trying to say? So it successfully it's a big chunk of the rest of the episode, and it successfully gets people's spirits up. Everyone likes the speech except Al. He's kind of like, bro, you shouldn't have done this shit. But he's still in the room. He hasn't left, right? So that's a good sign. Amelia basically has a talk with wife 184 again, when like after the speech, and kind of like, yeah, that's my night. And like, I won't abandon you in this second, because, you know, I believe in Subaru and all this other stuff. And like, the 184 was kind of like, what are you gonna do? And she's like, I'm gonna go to the wedding. And I was like, weird. You should be more like, I'm gonna fight, or you know what I'm trying to say. But like, I understand what she was trying to say in that moment or whatever.
She's got a plan.
Yeah.
We also see her allude to Pedal Goofs and Fortuna.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. She says like, yeah, she's seen two people that should have been married or could have been married but not able to do so. So, yeah, she does bring that up.
Yeah, she says something along the lines of, you know, this isn't right. This situation isn't right. you should only be, married to somebody you actually care and love about.
Yeah.
Care and love, and that's why I don't think this is right.
Yeah, and I know that might be a corner statement to say or whatever, but I think that's a fairly good statement. Like that's she's not wrong. She's not wrong at all. I think that's a good standard to have.
Yeah, that's pretty bare minimum.
Yeah, but yeah. So you get the speech from him. Everyone's kind of thing. One thing that does happen when the speech happens, Wolf Dude comes into the place where the speech is happening, and Subaru's kind of like saying like, "Oh, was it you guys think it was good? Was it good, guys? People shy? Did I do a good job?" And there one other people that one other at the very end, one other person shows up, and it's where's Otto. Otto still lives, still somehow surviving
Without a return to death power. Don't know how he did it, but he did it.
Yeah, and he's like, "Yo, bro, I brought someone with me," and Subaru was like, "Who you bring?" And some red hair guy comes up, and Subaru starts smiling because he's like, "Bro, we might actually win," because finally Reinhardt is in the story and it seems to be ready to fight.
I 100% believe that Reinhardt stood at the door for like 10 extra minutes before just so he wouldn't have to speak. Because if Subaru would just waited like 5 more minutes before choosing to do that speech, he would have easily have been able to pass the buck to a much more qualified person to do so.
Yeah.
This
Oh, yeah.
step is for Speculation Palace.
And so yeah, we get to this thing, and that's the end of the episode. So as we walk over to Speculation Palace, I kind of want to talk about this episode a little bit. Yeah, I think this episode is like it's not much happening in this episode. Very few scenes, very like vague or whatever. But I feel like this episode is definitely not an episode I would say like, hey, you should skip over everything. I think it's a really good episode of kind of like touchstoning with the characters again and kind of like getting a feel of like how everyone feels and like thing. And yeah, I'm pretty enthused with like the path they're taking with Amelia.
Yeah, the path they're moving with Amelia is great. We're going to learning a little bit more about Al. We finally have Reinhardt. Looks like we're going to see more of him actually fight. We're starting to get a little bit more of a understanding of the real characters that are mainly involved in the story. Yeah.
And
are you ready?
Yeah. One more thing I'll say. There was a small thing of Crush opening her eyes. During the speech or whatever. I'm hoping she is able to be in the same state as Subaru, where she has a curse in her, but she's basically not affected by it. Because this is kind of bleeding into something I'm going to say when I get into Speculating Paddles. But I just want to super small throw that out. But
yeah,
she still looks really fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm good, and I got the keys.
Nice. Got you. Okay. Let's go in there.
All right.
We have tomato soup and grilled cheese. Perfect for the cooler weather.
Right on.
Nice. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, just real quick. I don't trust Al. I've already said this multiple times. I still don't trust him.
Objection.
I think
Hearsay.
that Al may have something to do with the witch's cult, or he has some other. He definitely has a motivation that we're not considering. That seems to be other than the. I forget the name of was it Priscilla? That's one of them. Second, I really believe that this is the calm before the storm. Usually when ReZero starts building us up to be hopeful, it is just going to dedicate itself to ruining that hope for the next 5 to 6 episodes. That's one of my my beliefs, one of my speculations. Do I have any more? I think this episode, next episode, I don't think we're gonna find out exactly who let the waters loose. I believe that now that we've gotten through a lot of this, dialogue, and now that we have Reinhard, things are gonna move a little bit quicker. I don't know which place they're gonna try to capture first. I don't know if they're gonna try to go after Lust or if they're gonna. I'm assuming they're going after Lust. I don't think they're going to go after Greed first.
Okay. I think, Your Honor.
Sorry. Well, I got one more thing. I don't think I said this the last episode. I have a theory. I don't remember if I said this or not. That Fortuna is the Witch of Wrath, or not the Witch of Wrath, is the Archbishop of Wrath. It checks out to me. White hair, bandage because she probably got jacked up by Pandora. Obsession with Petal Goose.
Yeah, I
The only thing that's missing is she had shorter hair, now she's got longer hair. Gives time has some ability to grow your hair a little bit longer. I think that works out. And sometimes time be making us crazy.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna still throw out that why does she recognize Amelia?
I still think that has something to do with whatever the process is of turning someone into Archbishop.
Gotcha. Well, maybe she just doesn't care anymore, right? Like if her obsession is wrath, maybe it's just something she doesn't care about. I know we've talked about this off on stream and stuff like that. I think especially what you were saying, who other than these two characters have white grayish hair, and I was like, the only person I could think of was literally Greed. But she didn't have any any elf ears, so I think there's something there. I think that's a fair prediction.
I mean, she could be Fortuna's mom, or not Fortuna. She could be Amelia's mom too.
Yeah,
possibly.
Yeah. We don't know who Amelia.
I don't think so.
We don't know who Amelia's parents is. From what we remember, she was just a caregiver.
Partially feel like it could be the Witch of Envy, but that's I'm still not 100% on it.
Gotcha.
Because that would be a little weird, with the Witch of Envy's seeming simpage for Subaru.
Yeah.
Seems to.
Yeah. Anime has gone to weird places. I would just say that.
Yes, anime has gone to many weirder places before.
Okay, let me think. First off, I want to say, Your Honor, it's obvious the prosecution hates people with one arm. This is why the prosecution is going at my man Al so hard.
I don't hate him because he has one arm. I hate him because he has 6-pack abs, and I don't. Okay, and muscles, and I'm just a hater. Okay, continue.
All seriously, I think Al is the person that did the water thing. I think it makes sense with him being in a place full of dead bodies covered in water or whatever. I think he was the person to do it. I think Al is ridiculously strong. I'm gonna say Al is probably Reinhardt strong. He's just not going to get himself involved in a situation that doesn't directly cause him to causes his candidate harm. I think Al is kind of a person that is scared of failure from the way he talks to Subaru. He's a guy that it seems like maybe it's a guy that he was in a situation before where everyone put their hopes into him, and he let everyone down. And I think he's just kind of I'm never gonna put myself in a situation like that again. So I think his comments to Subaru aren't just comments that he's just kind of saying. It's just he's just this super strong guy that has been in a situation where he couldn't save everyone, if that makes sense, or keep everyone's expectations.
Which leads me to ask you a question, Nobody, because in the beginning of the story, it is suggested that Al might be another person that's come from Subaru's world.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to say it's confirmed, but even with the red light situation that he describes to Al, it will only make sense to Al if he lived in the regular world. You know what I'm trying to say?
What red light?
he said like because the situation that Subaru tells to Al is like if a kid runs in the street during a red light,
Oh
then,
yeah.
like that wouldn't make sense to anyone else except Al. Except Al. It only should make sense to Al if he's been into like the real. I don't want to say the real world. Has been into Subaru's world. So I think it's like
Yeah.
hard confirmed that he is.
So that leads me to have like a few questions. One, does Al have powers or any kind of power? Is he just really good at throwing hands?
Frog hand.
What gives him his power? Because Subaru has his ability. Like he might have some like really really low innate magic, but his main power is given to him by the Witch of Envy.
Yeah. Yeah, it might be something along those lines. Well, like we know one of the last people that transferred into the world was like the Hoshin clan or Hoshin family, right? Or Anastasia family, and we know that person was from another world too, right? And they seem to at least leave the impact enough where one of their offsprings is a candidate, right?
I don't think it was the Hoshins, or was it? I think it was a different place.
I might be wrong there, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like,
But I think they are connected to him. I think you're right. There's some kind of connection. I just don't remember what it is.
yeah, right. So, but like, so I think there's like some like thing where it's like like I don't know what power he could have though. Like other than being like I'm super fast or super strong, I don't know what else. I don't know. Okay, I don't know what else power he could have, and I don't know who would sponsor that power, right? Like, is the other witches having these like kind of avatars as well, right? Did the Witch of Greed had a backup plan for Subaru, right? Like, is this person like a backup plan? Like, is she sponsoring this? It doesn't seem so, right? At least to me.
I
But yeah,
I have a theory.
what's up?
Is because I think I've said this before. Is I have a theory that Subaru is the Archbishop of Envy, whether he knows it or not. I don't think that's like necessarily like something you get just by like being crazy and putting on the vaguely KKK-ish hood.
Yeah.
I think it has something to do with the authority you're given by like the witch. I think that Al might have an authority from another witch. Not entirely sure which one, but I think we could probably whittle it down by process of elimination at some point.
Well, let's go through this now because because what you're saying is basically like he's another Saint Bishop as well. If like you know what I'm saying. So we know we have greed, we've killed sloth, we see wrath, we've seen lust, we're thinking Subaru's envy, pride. That's I think a variable slot, right?
Okay, yeah. Okay, sorry. I'm just going through. Okay, yeah. We've seen wrath. Wait, who was? What about greed?
Greed is top G. So
Oh yeah, you're right.
yeah,
You're
so
right,
wrath top G, gluttony we've seen, lust we've seen, we think Subaru's envy.
What about sloth?
We killed
That
sloth.
fits.
We killed sloth.
Oh yeah, dang it, we did kill
We
sloth.
killed sloth, and the only one that's left I can think of is pride.
Yeah.
And this kind of makes some sense because when they were talking about Typhon and about her being like in the city and like under the thing or whatever, Al knew that Typhon was the person that was buried. He said like, oh, just like Typhon, right? Like he fucking knew something.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So maybe he is the same position where he has some type of authority from the Witch of Pride, and he's just like kind of hiding this information.
I think it is. The power of. I was looking it up. The power of the authority of Typhon. She can telekinetically shatter the bodies of perceived sinners.
Yeah, she.
I mean, he does have the choppy sword.
The choppy sword. Is it our sword's choppy?
I mean the cleaver, whatever the thing he has.
This is true. Yeah, and we saw Typhon like shatter Subaru, and then she put Subaru back together basically. Also, she ripped off his arm. Right? I keep forgetting about that part.
Yep.
Actually, no, she didn't put him back together. Raph put Subaru back together. But yeah, I think that's a fair thing. Yeah, I think Al's a bigger player than he's letting on. I think Betty's gonna wake up because of the opening. I think it's gonna be Betty and Reinhardt in a group. And I think they're gonna go fight. I think they're gonna fight Greed. While there's like a secondary team that handles Lust. I think maybe even Crush will wake up and go beat Lust's ass for fucking up her face. We don't get to see Crush's face, but I imagine it's messed up. But yeah, I think they're gonna split the party, and I think they're gonna attack each one of those things.
I hope not. I feel like that would be a terrible idea.
Well, they're gonna have to attack one of them. Who they gonna fight?
Yeah, I think they should just all attack them together.
Which one?
Because
okay, so I'm guessing you were saying everyone attacks Lust and then everyone attacks
yes,
Greed.
Power Ranger rules, man.
Fuck back.
Which great segue to if you want to watch another one of our videos, check out the Power Ranger video.
It's a good one. It's super good. It's us pitching to Power Ranger shows. Please check it out. Yeah. So okay.
Gojo rules.
Nah. I think that would work. So yeah, I think they're gonna have that thing. I think this thing Bid's gonna think. I'm gonna say this. I kinda hope it's not true. I don't know if I want it to be true or not true. Because I think if it is true, it expands on like, hey, this show's not about like Subaru dies and then he learns something and then he fixes it and kind of gives it a little bit more stakes. And they have done a lot of things in this arc and this run where it feels like the things that are happening shouldn't get wiped away. But I think Subaru might have a clean run and might not die.
I am glad that you are that optimistic about it. We shall see.
And I think if he does die, his new save point is this moment right now.
I think you're probably right on that one.
But yeah, that's all I think of the episode. I think it was a good episode. I think if you just want to, I think the speech kind of. I think the speech is mean words. I think it was a good speech in the anime. It's a good anime speech.
I think it would be funny if they made his save point right before he does the speech. So every time he dies, he's just a little bit less hopeful.
It's a little bit harder every time.
Yeah. By the end, he's like, "Shoot, I guess we got to do this thing. I don't want to do it, but let's do it."
No, they're not gonna do it because if they did do it, they'll just wait 10 seconds. He'll just wait 10 minutes, and Reinhardt will be there.
Yeah, that would be the better option, I think.
All right, you have anything else to say about the episode?
No.
Cool. Yeah, so that's what we thought about this episode. Thank you so much for watching if you're here somehow. And I just want to say I appreciate you guys so much for listening to us ramble about ReZero. If you are watching the show or if you have any thoughts about ReZero, please put it in the comments. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And maybe you don't watch ReZero. Still put your thoughts in the comments. If you're somehow listening to us and not watching this show, that's insane. But if you are, please put stuff in the comments if you have any questions or thoughts or ideas.
Right on.
And anything else to say, Moscow?
Just don't forget to like the video, hit that subscribe button.
And thank you for beating the algorithm.
Yep. Well, I guess maybe we can direct them to other things. Like we said, we have the Power Ranger video. It's pretty good. I have a video on my channel, Barely Awesome. Nobody's got a video on his channel. Nobody knows. Mine's about Superman and why he is not a boring character. Though nobody knows will disagree.
I don't disagree. It's just that I don't hate Superman, even though I get this alligator. But yeah, the Superman video is really good. You guys should check it out. My video is about Trigun and why I think he's my favorite Superman.
Also, highly recommend. Great video.
Gotcha.
Also, if you are on Twitch, you can follow both of us. Are you at no? It's nobody knows what if you have a number on there.
Nobody knows 9,000. You can follow me on Twitch. I do things and play games sometimes.
You can follow me on A Cure for What. I sometimes post. I need to start streaming a little bit more. If you are interested in learning Japanese, you're interested in Japanese music, you're interested in like rap or coding, because I am currently taking CS50 and I am struggling. I've been begging, nobody knows, for help for the last 2 weeks. But if you're interested in any of those things, definitely check us out. We'd love to have you in our little virtual lives.
You're doing good. You're learning. You're fine. And I have no authority. I know so little as well.
He says that. He is a CS major. He graduated with a bachelor's in computer science, yet continuously says, I don't know a whole lot about, I'm not the expert.
But thank you, Roscoe, for doing this for me. And thank you for another recording. And let's see what happens next time.
Next time, when Al shows his true colors.
I hope this character is so cool, and I still believe in Indiana Subaru. All right, thank you guys so much. You guys take it easy.
Take it easy till next time, and peace.
Peace.
I really hope I'm not wrong about Al. I really hope.
This is the last stop of the negative null line. Please collect all personal belongings, and thank you for visiting No Name Station.